This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Matt, did you see this article that recently came out by Newsweek? It was talking about massive housing bubble is about to burst.
Oh my goodness.
So people are talking about this. They're talking about the cooling of the market. And but what I don't understand what they mean by bubble. Like when I think bubble, I think of like the 2007, 2008 bubble where prices came down like over 50%.
Right.
You know, are they talking about
home values?
Home values came down. Are they talking about like a 50% cut? Are people now going to be able to go out who can't afford a home right now because they're $500,000 and go out and pick one up for $250,000? Are they talking about that? Or are they talking about, you know what? Maybe we won't see 3, 4, 7% appreciation year over year. And so,
so what do you think they're talking about?
I think it's a lot of fear mongering. Like they gotta, if it bleeds, it bleeds.
Right, exactly.
And so that is my take when I read something like this, because what people are not factoring in is why that first bubble happened in the first place.
And we're talking about 2007, 2008?
Yeah, 2007, 2008. By the way, that's like the only bubble in the history of like residential real estate in the United States. So it's not like it happens cyclically. It's not like it happens every 10 years. There's just correction. There might be some corrections, but not like a huge bubble bursting. And the reason why it happened was because bad loans were being written.
Yeah.
People were getting into situations that they could not afford. They were just saying how much money they made. The lenders were writing in it because there'd never been a housing crash before. So why would there be one now? And then eventually the problem got so systemic and so big that prices had been artificially inflated, and now people couldn't afford these loans anymore. Eventually, the bill comes due, and so
they set up. Seems like they set up safeguards and different policies to prevent that from happening again. Correct?
Absolutely, they went they went from one end of the spectrum to the other, to where like now there's all these safeguards and stuff. Like it's a good thing. There were good things that were done. Maybe some things that were a little overdone. Maybe some people were penalized that maybe shouldn't have been penalized. Some industries or aspects of the real estate transaction. Like I'm thinking title companies. Like title companies used to be able to be more involved in a real estate agent's business, and now they're like completely hands off. They can't even pay for a coffee. You know, if you meet for a business lunch or a coffee, they can't even pay for a coffee. And so it's pendulum. Anyways, the pendulum swung so far that now people are, compared to at least 2007, 2008, overqualified for these homes. And home prices have gone up significantly since then. So now not only are people not underwater on their homes, but they have tons of equity. So if prices do start adjusting, the vast majority of people can sell the home.
Right.
They're not underwater. Between them being able to qualify and between them having equity in the home, the likelihood of a housing bubble, this massive housing bubble bursting, is just
not realistic.
Not realistic at all. That being said, we are seeing a cooling in the market,
especially when it comes to California. California is, I think, when you say a very different real estate environment than the rest of the country.
Well, especially
to some degree,
especially in terms of pricing,
right,
and in terms of inventory. Like California, it's really hard to build.
Yeah,
and so there's all these people that need homes. There's all these people that may have. It's classic supply demand. So demand is so high, but they can't ease the supply because of all these restrictions on building. You got to save the snowy plover, but people can't have affordable housing.
Right.
So is that right? Is that wrong? I'm saying there's some balance that needs to be found there to help ease this this shortage of homes.
Okay.
So you bring up a good point. This exact article is actually talking about the South. Like it's not even talking about, like, they're painting it as like the U.S. housing market, but when you go in, they got me. I clicked on it, so they did their job. They're selling me now beer and homes.com and all these other things on the page, but they got me to click, and essentially it's just talking about the South. But nationally, there has been a slowing down in the market.
And what would be the bubble that's going on in the South that they're talking would be bursting? They're just saying. Is that just home prices?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just saying because people are not buying home. There's more people coming to the market now. So again, supply demand. This is real. I like to say all the time to clients, this is real estate, not rocket science. And so if supply is up and demand is down, prices will fall. If supply is tight, like limited, and demand is up, prices will increase. Doesn't matter what's happening to the interest rates. Doesn't matter like how many people are coming to the market. It's that supply-demand balance. Now, those other things may influence, how many people are coming to the market, how many people can afford the homes. It may have an impact on it, but at the end of the day, it's just balancing supply and demand. And so right now in the South, there's an overabundance of supply. And that's actually something that we're starting to see in our market right now. So for example, I'm looking at the most recent stats, and if you look at homes that sold in 2024 versus 2023, and keep in mind, 2023 was like the lowest sales on record in like the last 30 years.
Oh, wow.
So you go back further than 30 years, there's less sales, but how much has like the Sacramento region grown?
Sure.
In the last 30 years. So like it's a totally different market 30 years ago. But if you look at, so that being said, in 2023, in June of 2023, there were 2,949 sales in the Metro list, which is our MLS community. Okay. So a little shy below that. So 2,900. In June of this year, there's 2,700 homes that have sold. So roughly 200, 250 less homes have sold this year compared to last. And last year was the lowest on record. And so what that means is if there's fewer homes going on the market, then there's fewer sales, or if there's fewer sales taking place, then there's potentially that demand can start increasing because you're not thinking like the toilet paper analogy. Remember COVID? How
right.
All of a sudden there was a massive demand for toilet paper and you couldn't get any. But now, so what we're seeing now is there's plenty of toilet paper on the shelves, and so people are not in a frantic rush to go out and buy that. So now you're starting to see the prices come down a little bit.
Okay, so for those that are listening that are looking to buy a home or sell a home, what is your advice? What's your expertise that you're giving people from Made for More Realty?
So what we're seeing right now is, again, I always couch it with, I don't have a crystal ball. If I do, but it has tons of cracks in it, right? So I wouldn't trust the crystal ball. But what we're seeing is a cooling off of the market. So if you're thinking about selling a home and the numbers make sense to you, sell it now. If you're thinking about buying a home, then maybe just wait a little bit and see what happens and see if you can get a better deal in the fall. But if you're thinking about selling a home, now is probably a better time to sell than waiting if the numbers make sense to you. If you're going to be in the home for the next 3 to 5 years, don't freak out, don't panic, stay there. But if you're thinking, hey, you know what, I was really planning on selling this summer, should I still do it? I would say yes. Because what we've seen is a 400% increase in price reductions since January. So that means if you're a seller, the likelihood of you having a price adjustment on your home has gone up by 400%.
But if they want to get the most money possible and in a short amount of time, they want to sell their home quick, they don't want it sitting on the market, what do they do?
So what's the first? So obviously call 530-GET-MORE. You can reach out to us. We'll do some pre-planning with you and give you some strategies on how to get that property ready. And then that way you can make the best decision for you. Sell it now or sell it later. But first step, call 530-GET-MORE. You'll get in contact with us and we can help begin that pre-planning process.
530-GET-MORE or madeformorerealty.com.
Absolutely.
Right? Madeformorerealty.com. You can just Google it. Johnny Jennings, madeformorerealty.com or 530-GET-MORE.
You got it.